welcome in to a brand new case. So hopefully you've been able to check out some of our previous videos on previous cases, but we are going to be starting in a new case. As always, I am Strange Tangent. I am both strange and always going off on tangents. And I am joined by my amazing and ever so lovely and better half, Mrs. Strange, aka Red Panda. So I hope you're excited about this case. It's called Class of '98. It's Charles MacDonagh was killed on the night of his high school reunion in the small town of Chestnut Falls, Illinois. The prime suspects, well, that's Charles' former friends from high school who attended the reunion, and it's up to us to learn what really happened on the night of his death. It looks like, there was a part of that class in 1998 was a ragtag group called the Hacky Pack. And they were the close friends, right? And those relationships have changed over the years. So this is another Gray Investigations, as you can see right over there on your screen. Another Gray Investigations case. And so we are going to be diving into that. But yeah, got anything?
I'm just excited to get started.
Okay, perfect. All right, so hopefully, chat, hopefully you all are excited as well. Let's go ahead and dive in.
Do you have the list of stuff to make sure
I do.
we need?
Yep, I have the list right here of what we've got.
All right, so what's up first?
Okay, looks like we
You
got
have items falling out here.
Yep, all kinds of stuff. Let's get this out of the way here for you.
I'm sorry. I can't help but have to say it. Like, that is such a play on hacky sack. It's not even funny.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so cheesy. I love it.
Right? Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, we have a few things here.
Okay. Empty envelope. Ooh.
Yeah. All right. So we've got, we'll have the letter from the private investigator, right?
We do have that.
All right.
Right.
We've got, looks like a black light. That must be what that little
that
flashlight is.
Or does seem to be.
Mm-hmm. All right. We've got a high school yearbook. It might be in the folder.
It's like a full-on dossier.
Yeah, look at that. It's a whole investigation folder all put together. All right.
High school yearbook. All right.
Yeah. Map of Chestnut Falls.
Well, they're not messing around. It's like
Yeah.
huge.
I did try to reach out to get a digital version, and I have not been able to obtain that yet. So I do not have a digital version of that map.
We'll at least get something put up at some point. I
Yeah.
can probably try to do something with an image thing. All right.
Let's see. We've got a letter from the sheriff, so that must be right here.
Yep.
We've got an investigation waiver. Actually, that looks like a...
Looks like a timeline or something.
Yeah, okay, so that's probably the incomplete timeline. All right.
It just says detailed summary.
That looks like a crime scene description. Yep, that's on here as well. Witness statements. That looks like that's what that is.
Yep.
All right.
Did we ever find the waiver?
Is it the last page, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
There's a newspaper article.
Just sneakily stuck right on in there.
There it is. That's the waiver.
The waiver?
Yep.
Okay.
Affidavit for search waiver. All right. And then a newspaper article. So
Okay.
there we go.
All right.
All right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. And then we've also got the koozie and a notebook, right? Yep.
Yes. Kind of a cute little notebook this time.
It doesn't look like the koozie's listed here, and so is the blacklight, but I don't see the notebook.
Because I think it's for us.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see the
Yeah.
notebook actually listed as one of the items, so I don't think it's
Okay.
gonna be have anything hidden inside of it
Okay.
or be pertinent to the case itself.
In previous hunter killers, they usually give you something to write stuff down on, so that's probably
Right.
what this is. Cool.
That's probably exactly what that is. So we can go over the investigation, or we can go over what we're going to be doing. So like I said, it sounds like we have a Charles who was murdered while attending the high school reunion. So let's dig into that. All right. There we go. We'll pull this up on the screen so you can see it as well. All right. You want to read us our case?
Sure.
See what we've got.
All right. So this letter's from Michelle Gray from Gray Investigations. Hello. Per recommendation by my trusted colleague, I'm reaching out to you for assistance in investigating a recent homicide. The extensive nature of this investigation is proving too much for one person to handle.
Talk about murder and the lights are flickering.
I feel it was like so ridiculously timed. It wasn't even funny.
I don't know, chat. All right.
All right. So proving too much to handle, and there are certain aspects that impede my objectivity. I understand that you are incredibly capable, so I have no doubt that you will be an asset in solving this case. The victim is Charles MacDonagh. Really creepy. I would, if I didn't know better, I mean,
chat's saying get the salt, right? Like, I don't know.
I feel that might be necessary.
Might be the. Okay.
Is the magic touch? Nope. No magic touch. You moved. You have to stand like that the entire time.
Yeah, okay, so I just gotta stand like this the whole time. Okay, chat. The whole investigation, I gotta stand there just like that. All right.
You got this.
That's what it's gotta be. All right.
Okay, so the victim is Charles MacDonagh, a pharmacist in Chestnut Falls, Illinois. Oh, that's sad. He never moved out of his hometown. All right. He was murdered on the night of his high school reunion, or rather our high school reunion. Charlie and I both graduated from Chestnut Falls in '98. I've always had the tendency to hyper-focus on my work and neglect to befriend those around me, Charlie included. But I remember him as a kind person, always surrounded by the same tight-knit group of friends who called themselves the Hacky Pack. Unfortunately, they are now our prime suspects. 5 suspects from the group currently reside in Chestnut Falls. Antonio Viller, a record shop owner. Arthur Hughes, a high school history teacher. Robin Dupre, a farmer.
Okay.
Nicholas M is what we're going to call him, because that's a fun name. Neuroscientist, and Susan Lee, veterinarian. There are in town or 3 are in town just for the reunion. Okay, so most live in town, but 3 have come in from out of town. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And those are Aurora McBride, lawyer, Harley's cousin Nita Patel, a freelance journalist, and Gavin Nash, a plastic surgeon. Lastly, we must consider Sarah MacDonagh, Charlie's wife, whom he met in college, as an additional suspect. Ooh, big pool this time.
All right, yeah.
All right.
So how many do we have so far? We have the 5 plus the additional.
3 plus 1, so
6. So we got 6 right now.
5, 6, 7, 9 actually.
9?
Yeah, because it was 5 from town, 3 from out of town.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The wife.
So yeah, 9. Huh. Wow. All right.
A lot of people. All right. I'm in the process of gathering witness statements from the 9 suspects and have provided you with the transcripted copies of what I have so far. I started tracking the suspects' movements in a timeline based on their recounts of the night. It's included in the case file. So please think of it as jumping off point. That is an interesting phrasing. That is going to matter somehow.
Right.
So think of it as jumping off point. Because this investigation is ongoing, there is still key evidence to be collected and uncovered, but rest assured, you will eventually receive everything pertaining to the case that is in my power to obtain. I've also created a virtual desktop that you can access, and there you'll find information and extra resources to help with your investigation. Any new any new evidence that I receive will be locked with a password, which I will be sure to provide you. Needless to say, everything is strictly confidential, so please do not share this information with anyone. On the desktop, you'll find a document named Plan of Action. It should help you as you're going through the case file. There's also a folder named To Organize, where I keep files that I haven't had the chance to, organize. It contains school records from the '98 Chestnut Falls High School's archive, which you can access with this password. Please take a look and decide for yourself if they could be relevant. I implore you to examine this case with an objective eye and fill in any gaps that I may overlook. With your help, there's a chance that I'll finally get a good night's sleep. I'll touch base with you soon, Michelle.
Okay. So it's somebody that Michelle knew.
Went to school with.
All right. Okay. Let's roll into a little bit more about Michelle Gray from our previous cases as well. And then, so got a website, it looks like, as well, we can pull up. So let me get that pulled up. What was that website?
www.macdonagh.net.
Go. Okay. So this one. But this one, chat, it actually might look like you might be able to get into this as well with this. There was no login.
Yeah.
So there you go. So if you do want to join in and see some of the documents on your own computer, you can do two things. So I do have all of the physical documents that we have that we've received in this case have been scanned in. They've been placed in the Discord. There's a channel specifically set up for Hunt a Killer. And then you'll just look for the Class of 98 Episode 1 active thread. It's going to be active for this entire video, or for this entire case today for the stream. So in the future, if you're watching this on YouTube, still join in on the Discord, get into that channel. Just look for the closed threads, the archived threads, and just look for episode 1 of Class of 98. And those, all the documents will be there for you to be able to sort through and look at yourself as well. All right.
Very big.
Yeah, that is a really big map.
It's a very big map. Wasn't quite expecting it to be so large.
Maybe we can set that up. Maybe we can set it on the floor and take a picture of it.
Yes, that's a good idea. Let me try that.
That's the only thing I can. I mean,
it's
not gonna be.
Yet
Yeah, it won't be high definition, but at least people can hopefully see it a little bit. So,
we'll find out.
Yep. Sorry. So we've got the website here. Let me do this. There we go. That's better. Let's see. We got this is that folder where it said to organize, which there was only one thing in here, the school records folder, and some of the stuff I couldn't print or pull. So there's like a evidence checklist. So I don't know if this is. There's a lot of stuff in here that we didn't get. So I don't know if this is like an additional thing, but I can check mark it, like as if you have it.
That's cool.
So I don't know what that's about. There's also the deviant tracker. Right? I know. Such deviance. All right.
I bet we have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Why would they give us anything for free?
All right. So there we go.
I'm just laughing because the koozie makes a little more sense now. So Chestnut Falls, not
right.
Go Nuts. That must be a mascot or something, which is just so awesome.
Site works. Wait, why is this?
As long as you don't put the www.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, I know why that's. There we go. That's better. Now I can see that. All right, so the site works as long as you don't put the www in front of it. All right, perfect. And then you can be able to open that up and see some of the stuff. So we had the CNH192. We're going to share with you because you are our fellow investigators, right? Fellow detectives. But keep that confidential. All right. And then go from there. All right. Let's see what else. So what do we have? What do we want to do first?
I am throwing the map I did in the Discord. Again, like you said, like it's pretty readable except for like the house numbers. Like it's definitely something, just not going to be as specific as the one we have. But we can always post up close-ups like once we get more into
perfect.
the map.
You're putting that in the Discord?
Yes. Let me make sure I'm putting it in the correct Discord this time though.
There will be a.
Can you make sure?
There will be an active. Yeah.
Is that's
so
the announcement?
that's the announcements page.
One, right?
Yeah. So right here.
I'm rookie still. I'm
Nope,
learning.
wrong thing. And then there is an active.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you.
Now you can, little plus icon right there.
Okay.
And boom,
Awesome.
you'll be able to add that in.
Wonderful.
Silent Moon, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Happy Thursday. All right. I don't know. Is there any kind of...
So I tried on this. Obviously nothing, because this was just her sheet. So I figured there was
Yeah.
not going to be anything I had to try. Oh, I didn't even think to use it on the koozie, though. That's interesting.
I don't
Alright,
see
Nap is on his way.
anything inside the koozie or on the koozie lighting up.
Is it just me, or does this mascot or whatever it is look like it has eyeballs?
Right? It does a
It
little
looks
bit.
like it has eyeballs. It's very
yeah, it's
weird.
supposed to be, I guess, chestnuts or something, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, since
Oh, I
Chestnut
see.
Falls.
Yeah, I see it because it kind of
Yeah.
cracks open in the middle. Okay. Yeah, it looks like
Uh,
eyeballs. That's a little
right?
weird. All right, we'll probably come back to the map. Let's get to some of the other stuff first so that we can have some context for the map, maybe.
Yeah.
So what do you guys want to start off with? You want to start off with the yearbooks so we can get to meet some of these people, or some of the nitty-gritty about the case? What should we do?
Where do you all want to start? Do you want to start with the paperwork? Maybe we start with the letter from the sheriff.
Sure.
So then we can maybe have a little bit more background,
Okay.
and then we can dive into some other items.
Okay.
So I think that would probably be a good first start, is the letter from the sheriff.
Sounds good. The sheriff's name is Stephen Navarro. So, do you want to read this one, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I can read that.
I mean, I kind of take it off, or do you just want to keep it in the...
Yeah,
There's a
there
heavy file.
if you want, there's a copy.
yeah.
So then, yeah.
So,
Right
for those of
behind
us-
the yearbook.
I'll let you find it.
Okay.
For those of you who've not seen us before, one of the funnest things we do with those is he'll photograph just enough to get all the information, but like we don't actually start doing this until we're with you guys. So like we don't look at anything, especially me. He won't let me look at anything ahead of time, so that I can kind of do it right along with you guys, and we get to solve everything together, which is what makes it so much fun.
Right? Absolutely. Okay. I have to protect Mrs. Strange from herself. That's what I gotta do. All right, so this is a letter that is addressed to Michelle Gray, and it is from Sheriff Stephen Navarro in regards to the MacDonagh case. All right, so we've got says, Michelle, I'm sorry about bringing you in on such short notice. I shouldn't have called you so late last night to ask for your help. You probably would have rather continued catching up with your friends than jump into a murder investigation. But I'm grateful you said yes. Honestly, I didn't know who else to trust with this. My office hasn't been able to keep up with how fast this town is growing, and with my illness keeping me out of commission, that just leaves Officer Goff to hold down the fort. Goff's a good man. He's great at directing traffic and maybe handling a shoplifting case. But the man is as green as the day I hired him. A murder is way out of his league. All right, let's see. Scroll that up a little bit so you can see it. I knew you were in town for the reunion, so when Goff called me, panicked as a squirrel staring down a semi. That's a heck of an image. I picked up the phone. You were by far the best intern we ever had, and I was so proud when you told me you were starting up your own PI firm. A formal office was never your style. Chestnut Falls is my home, and it was once yours. It just felt wrong trusting it to some stranger from the county or state offices. I know it's unusual, but I'm asking you to run point on this investigation. You'll have access to all of my office's resources, including Goff, if you can find a use for him. This town hasn't dealt with a murder in decades, so I apologize for the lack of guidance or protocols to help you. Show this letter to Lisa at Town Hall, and she'll show you around around the office. If you buy her coffee first, she'll even teach you the trick to make the printer work. Charlie was a good man, and it kills me to hear what happened to him. But I rest a little bit easier knowing you're on the case. Thank you, Stephen Navarro. All right. All right. So what do you, John, what do you want to see first? Like, what evidence do you want to see ahead of anything else? Do you want to dive in and see the yearbook? Do you want to dive in and see some of the more gritty evidence of crime scene? We've also got the witness statements and a few other items as well.
So much, it's kind of hard to pick.
Mm-hmm. And actually, can you hand me the copy of one of the copies of the initial letter from Michelle Gray?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've also got the map. So this is Chestnut Falls here.
It's running okay. It's not too blurry.
Yeah, I mean the numbers are a little bit harder to
Yeah.
read, but that's okay. We'll
I couldn't get close enough. I tried, and it was too shadowed if I went further in.
yeah. There we go. So that's the Chestnut Falls right there. This image is up in the Discord along with a close-up image of the town of Chestnut Falls, or the key on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I took another photo of that. Just... All we know is
Find
that...
out the time boundaries of the death. Yeah, that works. So Solomon was saying to maybe start with the crime scene description.
Okay.
So we can kind of maybe figure out a little bit more about what occurred. Maybe get a timeline of what we're looking at to maybe start eliminating things as we go.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, see that. I'm just kind of scribbling names of people as we come up with them, just to try to start keeping all of them straight. Because usually the first episode, there's so many names.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Chestnut Falls crime scene summary. Let's see. So it happened at the corner of Poplar and Willow. Okay. At 10:52, the sheriff called me to request my assistance at the crime scene on his behalf. So is that Michelle talking then? It looks like it. Let's see. I left from the local bar at 10:58 p.m. and arrived at the scene at 11:16 p.m. I spoke to the deputy who was still on scene reporting, Officer Deputy James Goff. Before I left the scene, I observed the placement of the evidence markers and the situation of the vehicle. The passenger side door was left open and the interior light and headlights were left on. The keys were in the ignition. Following interviews with the reporting officer, reporting witness, and medical examiner revealed further details of the crime scene upon their respective arrivals. Okay. Secluded area known as the Grove. The local is frequented by teenagers, empty bottles, and other items. Okay. Trees are close together, can't see far. So it sounds like it wasn't like in the high school gymnasium or something. It sounds like it was a little bit more curious.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it might be after the reunion happened then, because the reunion would have happened probably earlier in the night, you would think.
Yeah.
So, something tells me I need to be writing down a lot of this information, though, so
Probably.
I have to have you
Let me
read
get
this.
yeah, let me get this pulled up as well.
It's going to get much more hardcore than I was expecting very quickly.
There we go.
Deputy James Goff. Do you agree that it's Michelle Gray talking in the summary section?
Yes, it is. Yeah, so
Okay.
so Michelle Gray. So so that's a good question. So in the crime scene description paperwork, if you look at the bottom, it'll say the officer's name. So it actually says Michelle Gray. So since she's acting as an agent on the behalf of the department, that's why it's being filled out, and the paperwork is, even though it's official documentation from the Chestnut Falls, right? So that's what it is. It's basically Michelle went into the office, got paperwork from Chestnut Falls to be able to fill it out and do the investigation. So she's using the actual paperwork from Chestnut Falls.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I would say that yes, this is being written by Michelle Gray. I think in the initial letter as well from her, it said that transcripted copies, started tracking the suspect's movements in a timeline based on the recounts of the night. It's included in the case file. So I'm guessing, and use that as a jumping off point. There you go. So good call, Solomon. Start there. There you go. So we've got 10:52 p.m. to 11:16 p.m. Those are both bolded, right?
So 10:52 is when she got the call from the sheriff. She left the bar 6 minutes later, and then she arrived on scene at 11:16. That's what I've been able to decipher so far.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right. Then because you've read through the summary.
I only got to like the location description.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because it was so much information, I couldn't read and process it all.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Since you're taking some notes over there, I can read it out.
Thank you. Yep. That'd be amazing.
All right, so location description. So secluded area. Actually, can you give me or unless you're going to write notes on the copies?
Do
you have the copy?
I thought you had that one. Did I?
No, I get it. Yeah, you have it all back. If you want it.
It's up to you if you want to. My handwriting won't be legible by either of us, so.
Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to highlight anything or not. So.
You can definitely do that if you want while you're reading.
I'll take some highlight.
And that way I can... That sucker will highlight very, very much.
Okay.
Very generous highlighter. Sorry.
All right, so we've got location description. We've got secluded area known as the Grove to locals, frequented by teenagers, empty bottles and other used items often found in the area. So the conditions were dark and dry. Trees in the area are close together, hindering visibility into the scene. So it was called the Grove. So let's see if is that on the map?
Probably. Yeah, if you can't find it, let me know and I'll pull the big one back out and we'll find it. While you're doing that, I'm going to kind of read through what she was saying about Deputy Goff really quick.
Let's see. Yeah, we might need to grab that. I'll grab that big map from you. I'm curious where this stuff is.
It didn't show up?
I just can't. Let's see. Hold on. Feel Forbidden City, Chestnut. Chestnut High is Q.
You'd think the Grove would be on there, but I guess if it's a teenage thing, maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Well, here it does. Hold on. It says the crossing streets. Here we go. Hold on.
Q. So right here is the.
Where's Poplar and Willow?
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, babe.
No, you're good. So Q right here is the high school, so that's where I think the reunion was.
Okay, that would make sense. Oh, here's Poplar Street. It's a squiggly down the middle of it.
Poplar, yep. There you go.
Willow. Oh, okay. Willow's at the bottom.
Willow Lane.
Yeah. So
Poplar Street and Willow.
So the Grove's got to be somewhere in that area.
Yeah, so somewhere in this, I'm guessing off of where, probably towards the lake or something. Yeah. So that's called the Grove. Okay.
So it just doesn't have a name on the map technically because, yeah that makes sense. Okay.
Silent Moon, you were right. I mean, every case we've had, the victim has been a very popular person, it seems like. So somewhere down here. So I didn't see anything on the map that said the Grove, right? You didn't see anything either, right?
No, okay. It just said location corner of Poplar Street and Willow Lane.
Okay. Yep. So that's down here on the very bottom edge of the map, just out of town. Or maybe not out of town, but far into the map. All right. So, looks like the plates and victim's spouse confirm that the vehicle is registered to Charles MacDonagh. The car was running, interior light and headlights were on, passenger side door was left open, and the rear view mirror was askew.
That immediately makes me think two people were in the car, but
Yeah. Additional description. Tire marks at the scene match make and model of tires on car belonging to Charles MacDonagh. Gravel indications show footprints leading away from the car at a long stride. Ground consistency made the shoe or the size of the shoe impossible to identify, or the size and shoe impossible to identify. Then we've got. All right, so reporting officer interview notes. So this must have been from, looks like from Deputy James Goff. Interview completed. Witness Aura McBride. This is a cousin and former classmate to MacDonagh, Charles. So it says at 10:17 p.m., dispatch received 911 call regarding the discovery of a body in a car off Willow Lane. The caller identified herself as Aura McBride. Reporting officer, Deputy James Goff, was dispatched and arrived at the scene at 10:39 p.m. All right, so 10:17 is when it was discovered.
10:17 is when the
it's when Charles's body was discovered.
Body/crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So Aurora McBride, you said was a family member of
cousin. Yeah.
Okay.
So Aurora is a cousin and former classmate.
Okay.
All right, and then we've got so Aura's the one that discovered Charles. Let's see. So Deputy Goff was dispatched and arrived at the scene at 10:39 p.m. Goff entered the clearing and was greeted by an adult female who identified herself as the caller. She stated that she was the cousin of the victim and had seen him alive approximately 1 hour previously. So it looks like we are looking at a timeline of between 9:17 p.m. and 10:17 p.m.
That's what I was going to ask. So you would assume it's from the time she did the call, not from the time the sheriff arrived on scene? I wasn't sure what time she was referring to. Like, was she speaking from like the moment she encountered the deputy? We could assume
maybe.
That for now,
we could probably actually show that. Yeah, it would be probably 10:39. I would read that as 10:39 then.
9:39.
So then, so 10:39 of when deputy got on site, and then so 9:39 being the hour prior.
Yeah, that's just ambiguous.
So from 9:39 to 10:17, I think that's our date and time that we're looking at, or not date and time, but time that we're looking at, time frame. After confirming the presence of the body, Goff secured the scene and contacted dispatch at 10:44 p.m. to request medical assistance. Goff's request, McBride exited the area to await further questioning in the officer's vehicle. Goff then secured the scene and cleared the area, finding no other persons present in the vicinity. 10:47 p.m., Goff called Sheriff Navarro to relay what had occurred. Sheriff then called me at 10:52 p.m. to request my assistance. So that this is again Michelle Gray writing this out.
An odd timeline, because with how it reads like he secured the scene in 3 minutes. 10:44, like he contacted dispatch to request medical assistance, and then by 10:47, that's 3 minutes later, he's calling his boss and saying the scene is secure. That doesn't timeline-wise make much sense to me. Can you secure the scene that quickly?
So let's see.
We'll have to probably come back to it. It just
he kind of cleared the area, so I don't know how big of an area that he covered.
Maybe.
It's out in the middle of the woods, so he probably didn't go venturing clear out into the woods to try to clear that whole area like that. It'd be too much of an area to do. But for 3 minutes, approximately being able to do that, to then walk around, maybe throw some tape up or something, or maybe tape across the drive. of where the vehicle comes in, that might have been able to secure the scene that way too. Really, it's just securing the scene would really be to make sure that no one's entering the area or no one's exiting the area. So he did that by having her sit in the car, make sure that she doesn't leave the area, and then probably assuming that something else then was done to block off the area, or at least being able to stop anybody from walking in. So if it's just if it's just a small little path that gets to it, that area, that one drive path,
like a 360
then his
perimeter.
vehicle maybe was blocking the area, and he could stop anybody driving down it. But yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like sheriff called at 10:52, right? So that matched up with the above information. Right? Yep, 10:52. So Dr. Kara Duncan arrived at 11:04 p.m. Dr. Duncan pronounced the victim deceased at 11:12 p.m. by visual observation that the victim was not breathing, and by tactile observation that the victim did not have a palpable carotid pulse or any other indications of heartbeat or respiration. After I arrived at the scene, I observed that the victim was sitting slumped in the driver's side seat with obvious bruising and abrasions around the neck. Evidence was marked and bagged. McBride was taken willingly to the Chestnut Falls Sheriff's Office for further questioning. The body of the deceased was removed from the scene at 12:25 a.m. So evidence was bagged and tagged, which means that, marked and bagged. So maybe that's that list that we saw, the evidence checklist. That was on the website.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mr. Mustard did it in the kitchen with a rope. Yep. I mean, heck of a way to have a kitchen all the way out in the middle of the grove. Out in the middle of the grove where his body was discovered in a car. So I'd say Mr. Mustard did it in the grove or in the car with a rope. There we go.
It was always the maid, Mrs. White. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Mrs. White, wasn't she the maid? I don't even remember. It's been way too long.
Right, I know, right?
It's way too long.
I don't remember all the
names.
Characters.
All the names were named like something similar to their color. That's all I remember.
Yep. All right, so it looks like for the evidence checklist, we had a Bic lighter that was in a car underneath the driver's seat. Got a class ring that was in the car on the passenger side floor. It had the 1998 Chestnut Falls High School class ring.
Did you print that off?
With initial, it won't let me print it. 1998 Chestnut Falls High School class ring with initials CM. That would match Charles's initials. Next item was a mint tin. It was in the car on the back seat, with a graphic illustration on the front of a woman.
Ooh.
Socks were also found in the trunk with a novelty print, black piece of paper found inside. Or blank, sorry, not black, blank piece of paper found inside. Necklace in the car underneath the passenger side seat. That was clasped shut, opal inset. Gift bag was in the car underneath the passenger side seat. There was blue tissue paper inside. Beanie hat in the car on the back seat. It was a knit hat in fair isle pattern. Toy doll was in the car inside the glove compartment. Plastic found with handwritten note. Plastic comb was found in the glove compartment. Spearmint gum was found beneath the driver's seat. Half full pack of spearmint flavored chewing gum. Car freshener was on the floor of the passenger side, shaped like a tree, new car scent. All right. So that goes, I think the tree being on the passenger side matches up with the fact that the rearview mirror was knocked out of alignment, that sort of thing. It was found askew. So that meant, sounds like a struggle. Sounds like with bruising around the neck, probably strangulation.
I'm probably reading too much into it too, with that passenger side door being open. I feel like maybe he was with somebody and that person fled the scene.
Yeah,
while someone else was attacking him, maybe.
So
then it would make sense, like with the fight, the mirror got askewed, but then someone else who was probably in the passenger seat, like escaped the scene with their life, like was trying to run.
Or maybe the passengers who did it.
Could be.
So
Yeah.
trying to climb through in the middle of the car. That's how the rear view mirror then got knocked. That sort of thing.
Yeah. 'Cause either way, a struggle in the car would make total sense.
Yeah,
for that
I think it
knocked,
struggled
yeah.
like inside the car. So I'm guessing, yeah, but I do that door being open definitely means somebody else was there. So yeah, if that person was the culprit or an unknown witness or possibly the person that called and reported the body, right? Because if anybody's ever played the game Among Us, right? If you are the killer in Among Us, right? You do the killing and then you hit emergency button and call the meeting, right? You report the body. I mean, not call the meeting, but you report the body. This way, then it doesn't look like it was you, right? It looks like you're the one that found it.
The alibi is the most important part if you're going to get away with something, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there we go.
So
Miss Scarlet, Mrs. White, Mrs. Peacock, Professor Plum, Mr. Green, and Colonel Mustard.
Mrs. Peacock, yeah, I would like that one. Yeah.
All right, so that is the full evidence list. So it sounds like there may be some items that are in the evidence locker. Hopefully, sounds like maybe a couple of those items. Maybe in future episodes, maybe we'll get sent that evidence, some of that evidence. Hopefully, we'll get to see some of it hands-on.
Yeah.
So then the next part we have is the victim ID and medical assessment. So this is so the name of the victim is Charles MacDonagh, born in 1980. Occupation pharmacist. Medical examiner is Kara Duncan. All right, so medical examiner assessment, strangulation. Cause of death, unknown. I'm guessing the strangulation. Medical examiner, interview notes. Victim was declared dead at 11:12 p.m. soon after Dr. Duncan's arrival. Victim sustained injuries consistent with strangulation without ligature, including marks on the neck and whatever that word is.
Petechia.
Huh?
Petechia.
Petechia. In the whites of the eyes.
It means like tiny blood
that's
vessels
okay.
that
that's right.
they can blow up and kind of bleed. Yeah.
Dr. Duncan could not confirm further injury without conducting a full autopsy, but could observe signs of probable damage to cartilaginous rings.
Of the trachea.
Trachea. There we go.
So basically, the heart.
You can tell who the person is with a medical background versus the person that has no medical background. Okay. Let's see. Cause of death: likely asphyxiation from crushed closed airway. Time of death was estimated to be between 9:35 and 9:40 p.m. So that narrows it down even further.
That sure does, doesn't it?
Dr. Duncan recommended a full autopsy and toxicology report to the coroner's office. Autopsy completed. No autopsy results to be determined, with Chicago waiting. Toxicology completed. No, that's also to be determined for the results.
Can you read? So I see Michelle, but can you read both these other signatures?
Approved by Navarro. Sheriff.
Is that Sheriff Navarro? Okay.
Yep.
So he approved the report, basically. Okay.
He approved the fact because Michelle Gray is not an officer of the department, but a private investigator.
That's what I wanted to understand. Okay, so that was a lot of details. It's going to be fun to kind of nitpick back down on. We have a lot of witness statements as well. So I did look up one thing about Aurora. So she's a lawyer.
Okay.
So she was the one that was a lawyer. And I think she was one that was out of town, wasn't she? Let me see. Yeah, she was one of the ones out of town that came in just for the reunion. So Aurora doesn't live in Chestnut Falls.
Okay.
So.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. All right.
All right, so then next up, we've got... What we want to look at next. So we've got the yearbook, we've got some witness statements, we've got the waiver.
We should do Aurora's witness statement.
Aurora's witness statement, yeah.
Does that seem to make sense?
Yeah,
I just happen to see hers was one of the ones that was already taken, so it makes sense we start with hers since we've already got some of hers. I'm honestly not going to lie, I want to go through the yearbook just to have some details.
We got Susan Aurora, there we go.
Yeah, it should have been the second one.
Yep.
Just because we already know a little bit about her story, right? So let's see if it matches.
Let's see. Actually, can we look at one thing real quick,
Please,
which is
go ahead.
the waiver? Because it was a witness. It was like a.
It was at the very end.
It was the witness waiver, right? So it was saying like what they're waiving.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, so let's look at this before we read their statements. So we know what the waiver
Actually.
was. So this is the affidavit for search waiver. The undersigned states as follows: that I consent to the search of the premises of 115 Newton Court, a red brick single-story family residential dwelling, approximately 50 years old, with gray shingle roof, one chimney, a front wooden porch, brown front door, and detached single vehicle garage constructed of wood covering covered in brown vinyl siding, and a white overhead single door. The numeric is visible on the primary entrance door. Following property to wit: any device that can be utilized for the transaction of service or a financial account of collection, including any cell phones or computers, hardware consisting of all such equipment that can collect, analyze, create, display, convert, conceal, or transmit electronic, magnetic, optical, or similar computer impulses or data, along with trace evidence to include but not limited to blood, semen, saliva, or drugs, and drug paraphernalia.
Drugs. Sorry.
Such items are subject to search and seizure in that they are evidence in a criminal matter pursuant to U.S. Code 1111. I consent that Michelle Gray, private investigator under the advisement of Stephen Navarro, Chestnut Falls Sheriff, be assigned to conduct the search and seizure of any and all property as stated above. The affiant declares that information stated in this document is truthful under U.S. Code 1621. So this is actually a search warrant on his home.
Is that Charles MacDonagh's home, the pharmacist?
Yeah, because Sarah MacDonagh is who signed it.
The wife, okay.
The sheriff has signed it as well, along with Michelle and the notary public, saying that, basically, so she's understanding that's what this is. I thought it was like a waiver for the witnesses. I thought it said witness waiver on the checklist, but that makes more sense. So that's a search warrant for the premises.
Search warrant for Charles, the victim's home.
Yep, so he was at 115 Newton Court, where he lived.
115 Newton Court, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, is it bad? You hear a pharmacist got killed in the middle of nowhere. My immediate thought is drugs.
Right? Let's see. I don't know where Newton Court is. Oh, wait, right here. Newton Court.
Find it?
Right next to Ash Park.
Okay.
So
he was quite a ways away from
home. Yeah. Somewhere on one of these. So one of these right there is.
And what we'll do, because I can do the Adobe editing, I can actually get a better picture of the map and then kind of circle and write on whose place is what or where the murder was, works. Like I did on Mallory Rock. So I'll do that for episode number 2.
Yeah, let's do this too. We have the map, right? Let's do like what we did last time. Got the tape. We'll just throw it up on behind us too.
Okay. That works.
Notes. For now.
Works. Yeah.
That works.
That's all I have right now.
Oh yeah, that works.
Is that okay?
Yeah, flags actually work better than I was just going to use the full post-it notes, so that works even better.
I grabbed these for the actual stuff here, so.
Let's see.
All right. Do you want me to read Aurora's?
Yes, please. Actually, I'm gonna pull that up while you're. Yeah, I'm on this.
I don't know what tape is at. I don't have any with me right now.
I have it.
Okay. Sweet.
All right, so this is Aura McBride's witness statement. So there we go. There's that.
So this is his cousin's witness statement. Okay. Charlie and I are cousins on our mom's side. Well, that helps a lot. We grew up in a small town together. We grew up in a town together, but I moved away after college and he came back here to settle down. This was the first time we'd seen each other in a couple years. So we talked a lot during the reunion. I lost track of him at some point, but we'd all agreed to meet up at Dimitri's at 10, so I thought I'd see him later. I volunteered to help Artie clean up after the reunion ended. I took care of the gym and he cleaned the cafeteria across the hall. I finished up a little after 9:45. I was going to head to Dimitri's then, but I saw I had missed a call from Susan's work number. I tried calling her back, but got no answer. Susan wouldn't call for no reason. She's not the talkative type. During the reunion, we talked about her issues at work, and I saw her step out early. I was worried she was having some trouble, so I drove out to her clinic. On my way, maybe around 10:15, I saw some headlights shining just off Willow Lane. It looked like someone had parked at the Grove. I thought it must be someone I knew, since the Grove was a popular place to hang out when we were teenagers. I parked on the side of Willow Lane and walked over to the car, which I recognized as Charlie's. The passenger door was wide open. I saw Charlie leaning back against the driver's seat, head tilted at a weird angle. I thought he might have been sleeping, but he didn't respond when I tapped the window. The driver's side door was unlocked, the driver's side of the door was unlocked, so I opened it and shook him, but still no response. He was pale and had bruises around his neck. I checked his pulse, but there was nothing. My phone says I called 911 at 10:17. I can barely remember what I said to the operator. I was in such a panic. I don't remember how long it took for authorities to come. His skin was still warm when I found him. I got there too late. Interesting. Okay.
There.
Okay.
Yeah, can you give the copy of the search? Yeah.
Yes.
You.
Welcome.
All right, so we've got.
Interesting. So basically, she's saying that he was warm when she got there, so he couldn't have been dead or whatever for long. One thing that I did catch was interesting, though, is she said that he was like leaning back, but I'm pretty sure the sheriff's report said that he was slumped forward, didn't it?
Yeah.
I swear it said he was slumped forward. So when she was checking his pulse, did she accidentally jostle him so much she made him slump forward? Because she doesn't say that.
That's
so
a good
somebody
catch.
touched the body.
Yeah.
Whether her or somebody else, she just doesn't remember doing it. The body seems to have changed somehow. The other thing that I thought was interesting, she does mention bruises around his neck, because that's also interesting, because to me, bruising, like, that takes time to form. So, if, like, he's being choked while he's, like, right there, how would he be bruised? I don't know. That's just interesting. Interesting, though. The person she mentions, Susan, I think Susan might be the veterinarian. Let me check.
Okay.
Yeah, Susan Lee is the veterinarian. So, that's who she had gotten a call from, and that Susan's not a talkative type, so wouldn't have called without reason. So
right.
She was actually going out to check on Susan at the vet clinic, is what it sounds like, when she managed to see Charles's car and stop and check on him.
Okay.
That's awful interesting. Very curious. Well, should we read Susan's statement next then?
Yes.
See what she wanted Aurora for anyway? So this is Susan Lee. This is one of the people who lives in town as a veterinarian. She said she arrived at the reunion at 6 and spent most of the time catching up with everyone. I saw Charlie briefly. Later in the night, I spoke to Aurora about the lawsuit I'm currently involved in. Ooh, okay. Our conversation left me with some serious questions about the process, so I decided to leave the reunion early around 8:40. I drove to my office at the vet clinic to look over some documents my lawyer had sent me. Then around 9:10, I called my lawyer and we spoke for about a half hour or so. After that, I called Aurora to ask for some more legal advice, but she didn't pick up. That was around 9:45, I believe. I left my office and paced around the clinic for a while, thinking I should try to call Aurora again soon. I'd planned to meet up with our friend group at Dimitri's at 10, but I wasn't in the mood at that point. It wasn't until later that night that I heard about what happened to Charlie. Because I think she actually said 9:45 as well. Yeah, I finished up a little after 9:45 and saw she had missed a call from Susan's number. Okay. So nothing too sketchy yet. I'm sure there's something I'm missing, but that is really interesting that she reached out to Aurora because Aurora's a lawyer. Ask her questions legally about
right.
a lawsuit. It's the way it reads, though, to talk about a lawsuit I'm currently involved in. It's not like Aurora's her lawyer. She was wanting someone's opinion on the situation,
Yeah.
right? So.
And what time was that call from, or like starting?
So she had left a voicemail. So basically, she had spoken to her lawyer for about a half hour, and then called Aurora to ask some questions about the information I think her lawyer had given her. Mm-hmm. And she said that was about 9:45, which, from what Aurora said, around 9:45, she finished helping clean up the school, and she checked her phone and saw a missed call.
She said that she left at 9:45.
No. I said she finished cleaning up the school. I finished up a little after 9:45. I was going to head to Dimitri's, but then I saw I had a missed call from Susan's work number. I tried calling her back, but got no answer.
So one of the photos on the website that was in the folder is from some social media site.
Yeah.
And it's Aurora McBride saying that Aurora is she's at Chestnut Falls High School.
Yeah.
Almost finished cleaning up. The reunion was a blast.
Okay.
It looks like there is a clock on the wall.
Nice.
A little after 9:40,
okay.
And prior to 9:45.
So let's see.
So she has a
she
photo.
took care of the gym. So yeah, Aurora took care of the gym, and he cleaned the cafeteria. So that was her area to clean up. She cleaned up the gym. Okay.
So that matches up.
Ooh, what's written on the board? Can you read?
Nope.
Oh no, to the right. The white. That. What is
this?
Yeah. It looks like chalk, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all a bunch of chalk, but I don't see anything like any actual words or anything.
That would have been so much fun.
I don't see anything.
Yeah. Cool.
So there we go. So yeah, so looks like Aurora was at the school.
She was definitely. So basically, if she was there truly at 9:45, she definitely didn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That we can assume right off the bat.
Yeah, because what was our timeline again? It was
we said that he died between 9. Hold on, it was 9. I want to say it was 9:35 to 9:40. So yeah, if she's there, she can't be a few blocks away killing her cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he died between 9:35 and 9:40, according to the ME. What was our goal for this episode?
9. What was it? 9 what?
35 to 9:40. What was our goal in this box? Do you know?
I didn't. That's why earlier when I asked to grab that copy back, I was trying to reread it real quick to see if I just missed.
Because all I remember saying was weird was the jumping off point.
Yeah, it was the jumping off point to start from the timeline.
I kind of need to read what jumping off point even means, like from a verbal.
It just means the starting point.
Does it? Okay.
Point. Yeah, where you jump off from, like where you start from. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in here about as far as to contact Michelle Gray.
Go back to the site really quick, because there was something about which of these people do you not think did it. Go back to that.
Well, that was the hint site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the site. That was the recap site. So I was just going to that to be able to pull the description of the episode.
Well, it looks like it says we should be able to eliminate at least one person.
Yeah. So we can eliminate one person per episode. So we should be able to eliminate one person. I'm guessing then we would.
Okay. Because technically, Susan is saying she wasn't at the school, but we can't prove where she was. Can you look up something?
No, I was just looking to see if this told us. Oh, okay. So your objective of this episode is to eliminate one suspect. When you have identified a suspect you would like to eliminate, go to this website, click on the episode 1 icon. So I'm guessing it's this episode, this right here, and enter the passcode. Yep. All right, got it. Then click on the image of the suspect who you would like to eliminate based on the evidence in this episode. You'll receive a congratulatory response if you are correct. If your answer is incorrect, you should receive a response prompting you to try again. So,
well, we know that Susan was not at the school, so no one can verify her whereabouts. Assumedly, Aurora is, because she posted that photo. but there's no GPS on it, and she could have technically totaled the clock, even though I doubt it. Until we have someone else backing up at least her portion of the story, I don't think I feel like we have enough to say for sure she's not the
I
one.
was trying to see if there wasn't.
Sure
Unfortunately, there
like
wasn't a timestamp. Yeah,
yeah,
I wish there was a timestamp as far as like when it was
yeah.
posted. But there's not. So
I feel like that clock is very intentional though to make us rule her out, but I don't want to waste a guess and be super embarrassed, like wrong.
Hey, South Moon, completely understandable. I hope everybody's okay.
Take care.
All right. So yeah, so it looks like we're going to use this website to determine who
rules somebody out.
Yeah, so we've got hints down here and then the reveal. Okay.
Cool.
Or
I don't think we're there yet.
One reveal. Blacklight reveal.
Stuff.
Yeah, blacklight hint, blacklight reveal.
Okay, you just said that now. I just want to like take my blacklight to everything.
I know, right? Yeah, so we've got 9 people that we're trying to get through and eliminate from the pool. So if Aura McBride was at the school with that, I would say that would be who we could eliminate. But I agree, we should finish going through the evidence. Yeah, just finish going through the evidence, make sure that we're good to go.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Ooh, we have a face though. We finally have a face to a name for this one. Yeah. She looks very young. All right. So who should we do next? It looks like the other witness statements we have are Arthur, Gavin, and Antonio Villar. Actually, never mind. There might be more than that. I lied. Oh, that was it.
Okay. Do we want the newspaper?
We can.
Okay. Or we can go through more of the witness statements. Do you want to go through more witness statements?
Either way's fine. Okay. These are hard because there's so much information in
there. Yeah, there really is. Let's see. So we read that one, and then you read Susie's already, right?
Yeah, so I did the first 2, basically.
Okay. So then we got Arthur would be next.
Mm-hmm. His isn't too long. Do you want to chew his out really quick and then take a break and do something else like the newspaper?
Yeah, that works. Okay. Would you like me to read it, or do
you want to read it? If you want, I can do this one, and then you can do the newspaper.
Which one do you have? Arthur who?
Sorry.
Actually, there's 2 Arthurs.
No, one's an Antonio. I was an idiot. I was looking at the wrong one. Okay. Just kidding.
Arthur Hughes?
Yeah, so his isn't short at all. I lied.
That's okay.
All right. After him, we'll do something else for a minute, like the newspaper or something.
Yeah, no, that works.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So Arthur, let me see. Who was Arthur really quick? Do you have can you read on here really quick midway through who was Arthur?
Yes.
He's definitely
5 suspects from the friend group currently reside in Chestnut Falls. So Arthur is one of those that resides in Chestnut Falls. He's a high school history teacher.
Okay. Okay. All right, so he's a townie. All right, so he was at school until 9:45. Oh, is he the one that was cleaning the cafeteria? He might have been the one cleaning the cafeteria.
Okay.
Yes, she called him Artie. I'm going to assume Artie, and Artie is a shortened name for Arthur.
I believe so. Okay. Actually, it's going to get just briefly loud here, chat. I'm actually going to print this off. Scale.
You could also screenshot that and put it in the Discord.
That's exactly what I did to grab that was that. So we'll print that off.
Okay. Should I keep talking or hold on?
If it will print, let's see.
It's not even.
There we go. All right, it is gonna get a little bit. Now, let me just do this real quick. All right, there we go. I went ahead and muted just briefly, just so you guys wouldn't have to hear the printer going nonstop. There we go. All right, so we have, I just posted this in Discord as well. So we have that there. So there's your Discord link. Yeah, And then also, if you're watching this on YouTube, that Discord link will be in the description down below. Let's get... There we go. So that'll help us out quite a bit too. So we can kind of cross people off as we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we were reading
I was reading
right?
all about Arthur, yeah.
Yep, okay. So yeah, if you want to continue.
Aura was talking about was the guy cleaning the cafeteria. Well, she was cleaning the gymnasium.
Okay.
So, he said he was at school until about 9:45 also, cleaning up after the overwhelming success of the reunion, which is no surprise seeing as I put it together. Oh gosh, he's one of those people. There were a few minor hiccups, but thankfully no one made an idiot of themselves. Truly a remarkable feat given that Gavin Nash was in attendance. Ooh, feeling the love right there.
Right.
Aura volunteered to stick around and help me put the tables away. I assumed she did so, but I was mostly straightening up the cafeteria and ensuring all the fundraising money was properly accounted for. So I didn't see much of her. As I was about to leave, I noticed this custodial closet was ajar. I took a quick peek inside, only to see it was in utter disarray. I did my best to pick things up, but now I'll have to apologize to Mr. Fitzpatrick on Monday morning for how inconsiderate my fellow alumni were to his workstation. Regardless, I still made it to the taverna right around 10. I was worried that I'd be late, but Antonio was the only one there. The others showed up over the next 20 minutes or so. Everyone seemed normal, except that Gavin showed up with soaking wet hair that was dripping water onto his shirt. I guess the perpetual pretty boy felt he had enough time to go back to the hotel to shower, but not enough to properly use a towel. Anyway, we were still waiting for Susan and Aura to arrive when we got the phone call from Aura with the terrible news about Charles. Imagine it will take some time for all of us to recover from this tragedy on what should have been a perfect night. So, immediately, one of my questions, he doesn't seem to like Gavin Nash very much. Like, there's definitely tension.
Okay.
Popular pretty boy versus nerdy boy named Artie. But he mentions made it to the taverna, but everyone else kept calling it a D name. It was, they kept calling it Dimitri's, I think. But he called it a taverna, so why the different name?
I don't know.
Dimitri's. I was going to Dimitri's, yeah.
So the other person was saying that everybody was going to Dimitri's?
Yeah.
And then he made it to the taverna
and
right
he said
around
the word
10.
taverna, yeah. But
all right.
It sounds like they're all supposedly going to the same place. So is Dimitri's just called the taverna by kids anyway, or what?
Yeah.
It's interesting to me.
So I don't see. Did Aura mention Arthur at all?
Besides that, he was cleaning up the cafeteria. No.
Oh, okay. So, but she did mention it in the statement that
we're
he was
assuming
there.
His name is
okay.
Artie. Yes.
Correct. Okay. All right.
But again, he said he barely saw her. Like.
Right.
Yeah. So
I just want to make sure because if she said nothing about it, then
he definitely mentioned his name Artie and that he was doing one room while she was doing the gymnasium. So he basically said she was putting the tables away in the gymnasium. The way he phrased it, he never went to check on her in the gymnasium. Right. Which is kind of interesting. Because I feel like if you were both putting away everything in the school together, like one was doing one room, one was doing the other, they would at least check on each other, make sure that the progress had been made. It'd be weird for him to leave, go clean up a janitorial closet, and then leave to go out to eat with everybody without double checking on her to make sure she was also good to go since she was supposed to be there also.
Yeah.
So it smells a little weird to me.
It does.
Don't know how to feel about that. Artie, not off the hook yet. I'm curious to see what he thinks about Charles. Because I know he doesn't talk about what he thinks about Charles, but you could obviously tell he's got some issues with Gavin Nash. There's some history there, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Do you want to take a break from all the document and details and go with a newspaper article for fun?
Yeah, let's go with that. Farmer finds sheep mysteriously slaughtered overnight. No, I don't think that's the right set. There we go.
I was actually going to mention, I think they're both by...
Lauren Flanagan?
That one is one of the people we're suspicious of.
Oh, okay. So by Nita Patel. Yeah. Yep, that's one of our suspects lists.
She's one of the ones I think that's from town. Oh, no. She's actually a freelance journalist. She's from out of town.
Yep. All right. So small town murder highlights death of small town morals.
Ouch.
All right. Last week, actually, let me pull this up here too. Let's find...
Oops.
All right, here we go. So we've got last week, my hometown of Chestnut Falls was shaken to its core by news of the cold-blooded murder of my old friend and classmate, Charles MacDonagh. The common refrain sung by townfolk of every class and creed was the tired standby of soapy dramas and mawkish local news features. This kind of thing doesn't happen here. But it did happen, and the protective bubble that has surrounded one of the last islands of small town America's Halcyon values has burst. Halcyon? Is that Halcyon?
Where are you pointing? I don't.
Right there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Halcyon?
Halcyon? I don't know. So Charles MacDonagh, known as Charlie Mac, to friends and family, could never have known that his simple life as a husband and father in our town of fewer than 1,000 people would lead to his brutal strangulation in the dead of night. I would be lying if I said I thought Chestnut Falls was perfect. It never was. But what the Chestnut Falls community did well was work relentlessly to welcome every member of our community, no matter their background or identity, to the limited comforts of small town living. There is no mall, no office park, no reliable public transit. There is only the hum of the crickets at night and the safety you feel leaving your front door unlocked as you make an extra pot of tea, just in case someone drops by. All that's over now. One of the only advantages to resigning oneself to a humble existence, peace of mind, is shattered. We can no longer trust even our once venerated officials, the only people with the power to bring justice to our community. Sheriff Stephen Navarro, out of commission due to illness, made the confounding decision to bring in an old PI buddy of his on the case rather than let the system to do its job. So Nita Patel does not like the fact that Michelle Gray is brought in on this case.
That's fish.
While Michelle Gray may have some more experience in homicide investigation than a small town deputy, I doubt one private investigator has the qualifications to support a town that is grieving a tragedy it has never known before. To whom then are we meant to turn? From whom do we demand justice when there is a killer at large? Who will tuck Charlie's daughter Maggie into bed at night and help Sarah, his grieving widow, put the pieces of her life back together? Charlie Mack may have died by the hand of an unknown assailant, but the heart of Chestnut Falls is dying by a hand that is unqualified to restore integrity to our town.
Ooh. Tell me how you really feel.
Right? So,
Are we gonna read
Nita
this one?
absolutely does not like
Just like
Michelle Gray.
But it's funny because she's kind of an outsider too. She's not even like living in town anymore, but she still acts like she's a townie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the way she's writing, it's like she lives there and she's very passionate about her community, but she obviously doesn't feel that way if she's not living in the town anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what this has in it. It may have some kind of
usually it does.
Yeah.
These are never accidental.
All right, so Sheep's Shadow Farm owner, Adrian Dombrowski, woke up early Thursday morning to find 12 of his sheep stabbed to death by an unknown intruder.
Oh my.
The Cook County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate the bloody massacre. All right, so this is by Laura Flanagan. Farmer finds sheep mysteriously slaughtered overnight. It looks like it's cut off because it's cut out because of the other side of the article. So, Adrian Dombrowski was walking toward his farm's western pasture at around 4:45 a.m. on Thursday morning when he noticed an eerie stillness in the distance. Sheep's Shadow Farm, located in the southernmost corner of Lake Laurel Township, has rolling hills that stretch to the horizon, so Dombrowski could usually see the silhouettes of his Dorset sheep grazing atop the hilly pasture. Instead, he saw an empty landscape. I opened the gate and walked about 30 yards in, and that's when I saw them. Dombrowski said, adjusting his faded Cubs baseball hat. Go Cubs! I just couldn't believe it. A quarter of my herd gone. At first, Dombrowski thought a pack of coyotes had jumped a fence and killed the sheep, but he didn't see any telltale bite marks that are consistent with a coyote or wolf. They looked like stab wounds. I checked out one of the younger ewes and saw that the wounds looked like clean, deep slash marks. Someone trespassed onto my farm and killed my sheep. Following his gruesome discovery, part of that cuts off. I'm guessing it's talking about that he goes to report it to sheriff's office and reported the crime. According to Sheriff Dan Van Houten, 2 deputies responded to the call, conducted a thorough investigation. The deputies set a perimeter 50 yards out from the pasture and worked their way in. Van Houten said they removed the bodies of 2 sheep for further testing, but in the meantime, the investigation is still ongoing. Adrian's wife, Claire Dombrowski, said that the family has owned Sheep Shadow Farm for generations, and nothing like this has ever been recorded in its history. Adrian's great-great-grandfather bought this land and started the farm with his own 2 hands. Claire said, there we go, yeah. He would be absolutely devastated to know that this happened to our farm. It's such a peaceful, quiet place. Dombrowski said he'll be focusing on increasing security measures until someone is arrested for the killings. My neighbor is lending me 2 of his Great Pyrenees so I can buy a couple of my own. Dombrowski said, whoever did this owes me about $8,000. I'll figure it out eventually. Sheriff Van Houten urges anyone with tips or information regarding this to contact the sheriff's office, probably.
I wonder if there was a land dispute or something. I mean, why would you go stab a bunch of sheep in the middle of nowhere? That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful interesting. That's an odd one to have on the back of that.
Yeah.
Curious and
No, I agree.
So, I don't know. Where are we going from here?
Do we want to go over... Let's see, how many witness statements do we have left?
2, I think.
All right. Let's go ahead and get, I think, those knocked out. We'll do the last 2. Do you want me to read those?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Okay. Looking for Gavin Nash, I think, is next.
Yep. So this is the pretty boy who showed up to the taberna thing wet.
Okay. So Gavin Nash is who showed up wet. All right.
Yes.
Let's see. All right. So Gavin Nash says, I got to the reunion when everyone else did. I don't know. Look up when it started. I talked to Charlie, but I wasn't interested in whatever he was blabbing about. So I talked to some other people. It was great to come back and see where I started out. It's crazy how much has happened since high school, but I'm doing really well, unlike some people. I don't mean like Charlie, but I guess that counts. I left at 9. I went to my hotel. I wanted a nap. Maybe I drank too much. I don't know. I was having a good time. I didn't know what would happen. I left the hotel and got to the diner, and I know Nick showed up a bit after. I remember because his parents wouldn't get me anything to eat before he got there, and I was starved. I just finished a cleanse. It was brutal. It's too bad Charlie's gone. He used to be a lot of fun.
That's weird because he almost sounds like he doesn't like Charlie when you read that.
Yeah.
Like he thought he was better than Charlie at the very least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the tone of that whole thing. Does he mention a shower at any point? Because he showed up with wet hair, sopping wet hair.
It just says that he went to his hotel or he left the reunion at 9, went to his hotel, and then wanted a nap. He said maybe I drank too much. I don't know. Then he was having a good time, but I didn't know that or what would happen. He said that he left the hotel and then got to the diner, and then he knows that Nick.
I don't know who that is.
That's probably Nicholas Matsoukas.
Yes, he's one of the townies. I just don't know what he does.
Okay, so it looks like Nick showed up, and then Nick showed up a bit after. So there's no time in this whatsoever. So there's no way for us to know when he got to the diner versus.
Does he mention Nick's parents? Why is his
he does? He says that I remember because, or that he knows that Nick showed up a bit after. He said he remembers because his parents wouldn't get me anything to eat before he got there.
That's weird.
So why would you have to worry? Why would you be relying on somebody else's parents to buy you food?
Unless maybe they own the establishment.
Maybe that's what it was.
Because it's weird to be at a high school reunion like 10, 15, 20 years down the road and freaking be asking your classmates' parents for food. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right. So next up is Antonio Villar. So we have Antonio says, I left home for the reunion at about 5:45 p.m. I told Luis, my son, I would be home late because I planned to meet up with old friends at Dimitri's Taverna. That's the full name, Dimitri's
Nice.
Taverna.
That's what I was hoping for.
All right, afterward. I saw Charlie at the reunion, but we didn't talk as much because we had seen each other earlier that day at the pharmacy. I left the reunion at about 9, maybe a little after. I was in the parking lot for a bit. I thought I saw Charlie drive off with someone, but I don't know for sure. I arrived at the diner too early. I was the first one there. I wanted to catch up more with everyone before I brought Sovlaki home for Luis. But even Artie didn't show up for a while. Then I found out Charlie was dead. I don't know anything else. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So he showed up at the diner early.
So supposedly he was there.
And then Artie didn't show up for a while. So Artie was the I guess the second one there. So that would have been Arthur Hughes.
Yeah, he's the one that was cleaning the cafeteria.
So yeah.
And the janitorial closet, but never checked on the girl in the other room.
Yeah.
Weird. All right.
And it sounds like supposedly Gavin Nash got there prior to Nicholas. We know that. We also know that Aura wasn't at the diner.
Neither was Susan, the veterinarian.
Yeah. I want to know how Aura, like, what did Aura say as far as how she got out there or how she found him?
So she was gonna go check on Susan at the vet clinic because Susan called Aura and left a voicemail from the vet clinic's phone number. So not from her phone, but from the vet clinic's office line.
Okay.
And so she was very alarmed because she said that Susan's not a talker and doesn't chat much, and yet she called and seemed to have something she wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So she said that she was on her way to the vet clinic when she happened to see headlights at the old hangout point from when they were kids, the Grove, and so she pulled over to check on it.
So Chestnut Falls Veterinary. Okay, so the school is up here.
Okay.
So that's where they had the reunion. The veterinary hospital is right here.
Okay, so that would make sense. So she would have to take that deep, deep road down the middle.
Yeah, so I get because I mean we don't have the rest of like what's out that direction, so we don't know if it's like a road.
So she would have had to go by
pretty large.
Yeah.
So it probably was faster to go through town.
Yeah.
Than trying to come down here and go all the way down and probably around. Yeah. But to come through town,
she would have had to go past
so
the
she would have had to go down Poplar Street and then would have had to hit that intersection. That's where she would have seen the headlights then. Okay, so that makes sense. That's what I was trying to make sure.
Yeah.
Was that if
she was going to
where was Susan? It was like, oh, she was on her way to the vet. Like, okay, hold on.
Yeah, because I did think that smelled fishy too, because that's just a weird circumstance to be driving to one person to see another person. Well, cool. All right.
So now, I don't know if this is anything with that other backside of that story, but all of this area of the map and all of everything around this Deerfield neighborhood is all considered farmland.
Okay. Can you see where that farm was that the sheep got murdered on, in curiosity?
I don't think it's on here. It seemed like it was because it listed a different sheriff.
Oh,
so
it did. Yeah, okay. Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, because there's a Harvest Farms neighborhood. Yeah. I don't see anything in regards to that. So still looking.
Yes, I'm determined to find it. Do you know, was this a copy?
I thought this was going to be. Nope, everything in the folder itself is original.
I really thought this one would for sure have something.
So maybe something. We haven't looked at the yearbook yet, so maybe something in the yearbook. So let's look at the yearbook. All right, so we do have the yearbook. It's again, Honey Killer does a really great job with everything, so I mean it's pretty nicely made. Let's see.
Got to be the yearbook. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, so let me look at this. So we've got the yearbook. Boom, class of '98, Chestnut Falls High School.
Cool. Oh, so now you get to figure it out.
Yes.
I see how this is.
I get to use it now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything right away on the cover, but
I just thought for sure it would have been on the timeline. Where was this at, though? Because this was the other thing that...
that was on the website.
Okay.
Yes, so what was that one?
It was a disciplinary form. So this was from the random stuff from the old, like, class, basically. Like, these are random pieces of paper from long ago. So basically, like, Gavin Nash got wrote up by 2 different teachers throughout 97 and 98. It's like a disciplinary form.
Okay.
So, do you want me to read both of these?
Yeah.
Okay. So, the first teacher is Miss Gallagher. He was in 12th grade at the time. It was November of 97. So, Gavin picked up a younger student and slammed him against a locker. Gavin then proceeded to hold the younger boy off the ground as the student attempted to escape. When asked why he something this way, it's third line middle. It's like he something this way.
Acted
this way. Gavin responded that they were just messing around and said, "It's not a big deal." The younger student ran off before he could be identified. So he got suspended for 2 days in school, and the parent had to sign it and return it, to which the parent had signed and returned it. And then again, the following, like, spring, basically. So the first one was in the fall, this one was in the spring. Different teacher. But when Miss Kramer arrived at school on Wednesday morning, she found Gavin Nash and Charles MacDonagh dumping bags of sand onto the gym floor. When asked what they were doing, Gavin responded that they were setting up the beach volleyball court and invited Miss Kramer to find another teacher so they could play a doubles match before class. Gym class will have to be held outside for the rest of this week. Saturday detention to help Mr. Kramer clean up the gym mess.
Okay.
So that's interesting, though, because this time it shows that Gavin and Charles were doing something together, and that they at least were close at some point. But even though Gavin seemed to speak negatively of him,
right,
in his witness statement.
Okay.
Is that all the other stuff that was on the website, or is there anything else?
No, that was it. As far as in the folders that we can get into,
okay.
that was it.
Cool. I haven't seen anything code-like yet. I mean, this just reads every 10 minutes, like 5:50 to 5:59, 6 o'clock to 6:09, 6:10 to 6:19. So it's like legitly every 10 minutes how it reads. So it's kind of like a timeline for us to kind of cipher things out. I don't know. This is just so nostalgic of our own high school.
So, I think I found something. I'll probably have to kill or get the lights.
I was wondering if it was on the signature page. What did you find?
Yeah, you can see it right here. There's like some
okay
stuff there, yeah. But it starts over here, and then it goes across. So okay. I'll probably have to turn the lights off just a little bit here. We can actually do this.
Charlie
maybe.
Mack is such a tool. Psych Jason. I don't know who Jason is, but he's fun.
That's. And
I actually don't even need it. I'll keep the biz running while you're away.
Okay. Well, here we'll show the chat at least. So where we're talking about is on the autographs page of the yearbook. So we've got the yearbook here, class 98, Chestnut Falls High School. So we've got student life right here as well. And then we've got this is, after looking at a few pages here, looks like this one person right here on this corner is Charles, hanging out with classmates. So it looks like their favorite, class 98, loved the Titanic, Friends, Semi-Charmed Life, Spice Girls, Halloween, basketball, Chicago Bulls, just chilling is their favorite activity. Favorite thing for class was art. Their favorite teacher was Mrs. Donahue. Food was pizza, ice cream was chocolate, and Spirit Day was retro. The musical Grease. So Charles MacDonagh was the lead role in the musical
we have
Grease.
A photo for Charles.
We do. At least a younger photo.
Yeah.
We'll have a younger photo for, I think, almost all of them.
Yeah.
Because it looks like if you guys want to read all of this, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, just go check out the Discord. All right, so we got Go Team Go. Here we go. Here's the teachers. So Mr. Wessler.
So she's the favorite. No wonder she's pretty. She's pretty and young. That's pretty easy for boys to like.
There we go. Honorable mentions was Miss Lacey, Mr. Trent. So I don't know who this belongs to, right? We don't know who it belongs to yet.
Basically, I'm assuming this is Charlie's based on what I'm reading so far. Because Charlie Mack is such a cool tool. Psych, Jason. Antonio writes, in a town full of phonies, you're the only one keeping it real.
Oh, yeah, it is for Charlie. Yep. Yeah. What's up, Charlie? Yeah,
based on what I was reading, I'm getting the vibe it's Charlie's.
So this is Charlie. Yeah, so this is Charlie's then. So let's look at
RD plus CM forever. So who would be RD?
Robin Dupree would be RD more than likely.
Okay, we've not heard from her yet. Okay.
Yeah, so let's look and see what we've got here. So a little bit more about our person. We've got about Charles. We've got looks like was in the musical that we said as well. So Danny was born to hand jive. Senior Charles MacDonagh was born to be on the stage. And he left the crowd screaming, "You're the one that I want," in this year's production of Grease. The role of Sandra Dee went to fellow senior Jessica Johnson. Johnson held her own against MacDonagh's powerhouse performance, and the two made quite the attractive couple. In the supporting cast, junior Pamela Poughkeepsie held the role of Rizzo, and last year's leading man, Arthur Artie Hughes. There you go. There's the scene. We got verification that Artie is Arthur Hughes. Returned to the stage and briefly the front row after an overzealous backflip attempt, daring greased lightning as Kaneki.
Here's a picture of Robin.
Yep, so photo down there on the bottom. We've got Charles MacDonagh practices lines with his girlfriend Robin Dupree. There we go. All right, it's been another outstanding year for CFH athletes. Once again, our cross-country and track teams led the way with senior Ryan Lloyd setting a new county record. I don't think that's one of our people. It is not.
So I am going to already interrupt, make a comment. Whoever did this yearbook fails miserably because those pans were not in back then. I'm just going to point that out. Those were legit, like, in the pants. I don't know how I feel about that.
On the women's side, our relay team had a great showing at States, and senior Robin Dupree broke the school records for both the 2-mile and for shot put. Let's see. We've got not to be outdone, CFH's men's basketball team, led by senior captain Gavin Nash, had a record-breaking year as well, finishing in the top 10 in the county for the first time ever. So Nash is the basketball captain of the team. All right, I've got
and he was also
Heather Rhodes gets ready to run, so
I don't think she's anyone important.
Our track team is fastest, okay. All right, then we've got some stuff from the teachers, it looks like, written to Charlie. All right, so Mr. Wessler, sad to see you go, happy to see you grow, Mr. Wessler. Mr. Trent says, great job this year, or I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think that's, well, yeah, Charlie, great job this
Charlie,
year.
Great year. Yep, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
You really stepped up your game. I wish you luck, Mr. Trent. Sorry.
You're okay. Can you read the one that's sideways? Or
yeah. No? I can't believe I'm losing my best student. Please continue theater. I look forward to seeing you on the stage someday, Miss Donahue. Oh, she must have been a theater teacher, but also a history teacher.
Probably.
That's cool.
All right.
More teachers.
Yep. So runner-ups for achieving excellence. You were always a joy to have in my class. Come back to visit anytime, Mrs. Kramer. We've got Charlie. You're a bright spirit with a lot of passion. Use it and you'll go far. Mrs. Gallagher, who's in the 4th year chemistry. Do science, get paid.
That's right? Pretty fair, yeah.
Senora Prendergast, I do not know what that says.
I need to look it up because I'm going to die if I don't.
Mrs. Kramer says, live, laugh, love. Miss Welch, a valiant... Oh, 4th year French, I can't read that.
Where?
The top right.
Something... Impossible. I don't. Something well impossible. Give me a second. I'm Google translating the Senora Pendergast one. So I'll get that one too. Yeah, I can't even read that one. That says something. It's been a long time since. It's been. Do we need to talk about how many years it's been since I took French? It's been like
Right?
almost 20 freaking years since I took French. Oh, I can't believe it's been that long.
This is what we're looking at here, chat. This portion of it. And then next up, we actually have some senior pictures, senior photos. We've got, let's see if we can find our people. So Robin Dupree right there. Every moment passes me and I remember you. Fluff by Supernova Sleeves. People, Sarah Farley quoting The Breakfast Club. Screws fall out all the time. The world is an imperfect place. Let's see. David Chen's quote is just "woof" from Airbud. All right, so we have a photo of Michelle Gray.
Do we?
Yeah, well, a younger photo of Michelle Gray. So right down here.
Cool.
So there's your young photo of Private Eye Michelle Gray. We have it in us to be splendid. Maya Angelou. That was Michelle's quote. Arthur Hughes. The heavens themselves blaze forth the death of princes by Shakespeare. All right. So we've got a little bit of a photo there of Arthur Hughes right here in the center.
If you fall 7 times, go up 8?
Huh.
Anyone speak Spanish?
All right, so we've got what else we have? We have Charles up here on the top left. Got Nicholas directly to the right saying, "Are you hungry?" The quoting, I'm guessing a sister or something. Aura McBride. So
What, the cousin?
yes. So Aura McBride. I saw my life branching out before me like the green fig tree in the story. Sylvia Plath. So that's so that's Aura's younger photo right there. And then we've got Gavin Nash right here, of course, with that smug look. When you get the power, then you get the women. Al Pacino. All right, Nita Patel right here on the left. Energy rightly applied and directed will accomplish anything. All right, let's see who else we need to get. Antonio, fate up against your will.
Finally figured out Miss Welch, the French one.
Yeah.
It's for a valiant heart, nothing is impossible.
Okay.
So Kerr is heart. That's what I kept thinking, but I wasn't 100% because it's been forever.
All right, let's see if hopefully this shows up well. Maybe it won't.
You're not.
Yeah, well, it's all up through. It's from here all the way over.
Yeah, let me try a different angle. Sorry.
But it's just turning blue on the camera. That's all. That's what I was looking at.
Oh, okay, I do see it. Yeah.
I don't know if it'll work.
Let me try something.
Black light.
It
didn't exactly glow the way I expected it to glow.
Yeah. I'm gonna see if there was like a filter or something like that that I could put on it. That
Maybe.
might work. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So it's up right through here, across the top. So right across the top.
I'm gonna put a filter
this.
on it and just see if I get lucky here.
Yeah. And here's the rest of the autographs hit through here.
It'd be like a negative one, which should flip it.
Okay.
Play with it, but I'm not getting anywhere yet.
Yeah, here, let me see if this does a little bit better. Yeah, it's not glowing the way that it kind of should with a black light, but it's definitely there.
Yeah, I can read it one more time if you want me to. If you angle it away from you, it shows up with the thing.
There it goes. All right, so that hidden message is right there. So you said it was, I'll keep the biz running while you're away. All right. That's where that is.
Did you read the kid in the bottom corner? He probably did. It's so ridiculous.
Ryan Lloyd, 2 chests plus 2 nuts equals forever chestnuts. All right, there we go. All right, that is so cheesy. It's just nuts. All right.
L-I-L-Y-L. Oh my gosh, this is so reminiscent of high school. L-Y-L-A-S. Love you like a sister.
Right. All right. So we got some autographs from maybe looks like maybe Nick. A few other Antonio. So we've got RD plus CM forever, but then we've also got Robin actually writing something out.
Oh.
So Michelle Gray just wrote "Have a nice summer." Somebody wrote,
H-A-G-S.
yeah, Megan W. Was that one of our people?
Don't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, I don't think so. No, it wasn't. We've got. If it had an H in it, I would be like, hey, wait a minute. To the cutest, sweetest, coolest boyfriend ever. It's almost our 2-year anniversary. We've been through so much, babe. I still remember our first date when you took me to see The Craft. Right? Ugh. UGH, right? Ugh. But you held my hand the whole time. So I forgave you. Now that's true love. I know you're worried about the distance, but we'll make it work. I'm totally okay with driving out to Chicago to see you. But anyways, let's make the most of this summer together. Okay. All right, and then, dude, I better see you at my party this weekend. You footbag. Nashville, baby, go Nads?
I think it's the school he's going to. Nashville. He's probably going to school down in Nashville.
He's got gonads.
That too.
Yeah.
Into M. Dweeb and Dweebier. N.2M. Oh, there's an M. Nicholas
Where?
Mancuso. Nicholas Matkuskos.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, Nicholas Matkuskos.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's probably Nick. Nick M. Maybe that's supposed to be a C. We've got Aura. So, oh my God, cuz we survived. It was a bumpy ride, but you always had my back when I had to throw down on some asshole. Remember the something is that Shaker or something riot? And
Okay.
our Z-Man protest in the cafeteria. Bring back the veggie patty. Let's get out there and keep doing rad things in the world. Next one is from Jen. So, what's up, Charlie? I'm glad I got to know you this year. History was never boring with you as a desk neighbor. Sucks that we're not going to the same college. I'll write you. All right. So,
Ooh, this one's the girl veterinarian.
oh, okay. Want to read that one?
I can try to. Charlie, always had a great time at lunch with you and Antonio. I know it looked like I was just sitting there reading, but how could I concentrate with you two arguing about pointless crap every day? You still owe me a copy of Howl, preferably not one not covered in snotty milk residue. Best of luck at UC, which I think is University of Chicago. I'll be at Loyola, Loyola.
Yeah.
So let's something up in the city sometime.
Meet.
See Lee.
Yeah, let's meet up.
Okay.
And then S. It looks like S. L.
It's
Susan Lee.
S. Lee. Yeah.
Yep. And then we've got.
Oh, is that the? Is this one the newspaper girl?
Is that okay? It says Nita, maybe.
Yeah.
Nita. Yep. Did I read that one?
Yeah, I'm trying to read some of it. I'm having trouble at the moment getting through most of this. Let's see. Hi, Charlie. We had a good run this year. So many memories. Fast times at Wuthering Heights. The great Mash Fiasco. What? Mash Fiasco? What is it saying of November 97?
Yep, that's what it looks like. Mash Fiasco. Yeah, November
Your flawless
97.
portrait of M. Gallagher getting devoured by her massive shoulder pads. Love you.
Oh, can you?
Oh, can you? See, this is the problem. Can you believe we passed that final? I will never.
Frame.
Can you just read it since you can read her better than I can?
Yep, I will never cram with you until 3 a.m. ever again, so don't expect my help next year. You're on your own. You're on your own, dude. But I'm stoked we're both going to UC. Can't wait to finally get out of this dinky town. Go Maroons.
Okay.
I had fun doing musicals together. You did a pretty good job as Danny, all things considered. I wanted to play a comedic side character this time to test my versatility, so it worked out in my favor. If you're aiming for med school, you probably won't have time for theater. That's too bad, but good luck. I'm off to Broadway when I land my first role. I'll send you tickets on the house. Break a leg, Artie. All right.
Do you remember what RHTS means? But I can't place it.
In a town full of phonies, you're the only one who keeps it real. RHTS.
Is RHTS a common like teen word grouping?
I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't recognize anything as making that stands for anything specific. So
maybe it's just something that they know and we don't.
Yeah,
Inside
maybe
jokes.
for right now. We might be able to figure it out later.
All right. Well, based on all the information, I think it's obviously very clear that it's his cousin this time around, unfortunately.
That Aurora
Yeah.
is out of.
I feel like the rest of it's just really good meat for next time. So I feel like it's Aurora for tonight. That's obviously not guilty based on her timeline with the photo at the gym.
Okay.
So there's a lot of other stuff to devour as we get more into this, though. That's for sure.
Right.
So going
All
back to
right.
this and tracking how everyone felt about everyone's going to be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Villanueva. Why does that name sound familiar? Is there a person with a last name Villanueva up there? That's no.
No.
Okay. Some of these quotes are freaking hilarious.
Right.
Dinosaurs eat man. Woman inherits the earth. Jurassic Park.
That's funny. All right. So let's. You ready to click? Here we go.
Yep. Oh.
All right. So.
Screenshot that bad boy.
All right. Good.
We did it. That one was kind of easy. You could figure that out reading like the first 3 or 4 pages and not even have to go through the rest of it this time around. Yeah.
So we've got right here. So we were correct. We chose Aura. We are 100% correct here. So we've got motive. Aura did not hold back on details in her statement. Right? She didn't. And it was the most cooperative suspect, which helps her credibility and makes it extremely unlikely that she would commit the murder. She didn't have it was unclear if Aura had the means to have killed Charlie, but opportunity, Aura was not likely at the murder scene at the time of Charlie's death, somewhere around, we said approximately 9:37 p.m., right? So around
9:35 to
9:35 to 9:40, right? So because she was at the high school. So she took a picture at the high school after the reunion and posted it on her social media, which can be found on the website. In the photo, the clock reads 9:42. In her statement, she says that she cleaned the school until 9:45. When she noticed a missed call from Susan, discovered Charlie's body, then called 911 at 10:17. These facts are confirmed by the photo, by Arthur's statement, Susan's statement, and the crime scene description. Corroborating all of that evidence, which we picked up on and saw. Based on this information, Aura can be eliminated as a suspect at this time. So who will be eliminated next? We will find out in episode 2. So mark your calendars. Hopefully, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll get this video up this weekend. And then the next episode is going to be about 3 weeks from now. Let me look at that date. We said I think the 28th, correct?
Yes.
Yep. So April 28th, all right? April 28th at 5 p.m. Eastern, right here back on Twitch, twitch.tv/Strange Tangent. So feel free as well, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. All right, so we are successful in the case. We will post this up in the Discord as well. But I think that's it. I think that's a wrap for episode 1. We definitely had some fun. As of right now, I mean, what are you liking so far? Like, is there something that you're like, oh man, I can't wait to find out more about?
I definitely want to find more about the relationship between the Robin chick and him, because obviously he's married with a child now, and that's not her. So that's interesting to me. There's a whole realm to explore there. And some people act like he was a really cool jock, and other people act like he was a really nerdy kid.
Okay.
And based on his writings and based on the drama and stuff like that, I would lean to that he's a little bit more on the nerdy side than in the popular jock crowd. Yeah. So I'm curious to find, is he that classic clown comedian that fits with all groups, which is what it's sounding like. Like he's capable enough to hold his own with all crowds, because he definitely doesn't seem like a typical jock, unlike Gavin Nash, who seems like an extremely typical jock. So I don't know. Interesting. So I also want to know more about the Susan Lee veterinarian side of things, just because it's odd that she was in her practice that late by herself at night, and just calling from the vet clinic phone and having a legal situation, just something legal trouble wise. That's interesting.
I mean, so that's interesting you bring that up, right? So what time was it? I don't know if you have it ready available. I can't remember what time it was she had contacted Um,
9:45-ish or a
Oh
little
yeah,
after.
there was. Corroborates that Aura had a missed call from Susan at 9:45 p.m. So here's the thing, right? So that vet clinic, when we looked at the map, is literally right around the corner from the Grove. I mean, it would not have been, you know, now whether or not she would have been able to make it on foot, right? Because I mean, obviously, whoever was out there with our victim, with Charles, left on foot. So she would have had to run from the car all the way over to the vet clinic. So now, I mean, on the map, it doesn't look like it's that far, but actually, we got a little. I am curious. So if she was at the vet clinic, we know that vet clinic was really close. So one last thing too, I'll do this.
That's where she was putting herself out at the least because she called from there, so she had to. Because if she called from a cell phone, it'd be different. But I don't think cell phones quite existed popularly back then. Like, I feel like in the '90s they were there, but like
yeah, they were there.
there was still pagers and
yeah, I mean, it
beepers.
was like the old next to.
But not everyone had one.
Yeah,
was my thing. Like, yeah.
So this, it's not even a mile. So this is actually.
Oh, never mind. I'm speaking incorrectly because we're talking about the reunion, so not 1998. So yes, cell phones would have been a thing.
Yeah,
she made an intentional choice to call from the landline at the vet clinic. So that's definitely suspicious of someone trying to make an alibi. I would definitely agree there.
It's approximately 1 mile.
That's not horrible.
So the thing is that if you are a world class runner, then yeah, you could do it in 4 minutes. But you'd have to be sprinting for the whole mile. I mean, 8 minutes is kind of a good average for a mile. But
so you're saying it'd be a little tight for an alibi. Okay.
Thank you, Exquisite.
Hi.
We love you too.
We're just happy to see you again. Where's
so
glad you're doing another
the
session.
Grove was here. The vet clinic. I mean, you can't see this very well probably on camera, but so Grove is there. Vet clinic here. Vet clinic is 1 mile from approximately 1 mile from the Grove. So she would have had to run 1 mile from the car to the vet clinic, and then try to call in order to call. And now if it
but if that's the case,
it was approximately 9:35. If 9:35 was the earliest, then yes, it would be 10 minutes.
So let's play a devil's advocate on that. So how could that be the case? Because she wouldn't have had a ride home then. Someone somewhere would have had to come get her. But everybody except for Aura and Susan were accounted for.
Right. Unless she left her car, got picked up by Charles from work, taken to the reunion, and then he was taking her back to her car. I don't know.
Maybe.
And
then my question immediately goes to why is he taking
why did they stop at the Grove? Why
is he taking a lady that's not his wife to a reunion?
So and the wife is on the suspect list, so that's the motive for the wife right there, right? So
jealousy is
maybe your theory was right. Like maybe all of a sudden the wife showed up and Susan.
I just feel like from the pharmacy side of things, there could be some drug aspects. And the veterinary side of things, was there a malpractice suit? Was it something personal? Because what was this? Wasn't it something about a business?
Yeah, I'll keep the biz running while you're away. But that's from now. I mean, I'm guessing
that's from somebody else to him, right?
Yeah. Now, was that written back in '98, or was that written because he brought it with him to the reunion? Because he obviously brought it with him to the reunion, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't have
either that or no. It could have been in that opening letter. It was something about there's a bunch of crap that they found in the high school storage space.
Oh, okay. So they may have found his it was his yearbook that happened to be there.
Possibly. I don't know. I'd have to go read her initial opening letter again.
Yeah. We've got Aura McBride, right? Is off the list.
So the cousin isn't that's not shocking. Their blood. I guess that gives something cred vibes there.
Yeah.
I can't wait to do a little spreadsheet for this next one because there's a lot of characters. This is gonna be fun.
No, I agree.
It's gonna be fun because we have a lot of cast main characters. We have the supporting cast, and I think how interweaving all of their signatures and the yearbook signings and the teachers and the interactions is gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
So I want to know what kid Gavin was torturing. I want to know what kid he had pinned up against the locker, not choking him out, but you know what I mean? Because he obviously isn't afraid of using his hands. He's strong. He plays basketball.
Right.
He's athletic. So I don't know. I'm quite curious between the coming with wet hair, which is suspicious, and everything else. It just really makes me wonder what's going on there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, excuse. So we have finished episode 1. We're wrapping it up now. Just kind of looking to see what we're looking forward to with this case. So far, I'm really digging the story. I'm we're kids of the '90s as well, so it some of this is a little like bringing back the neon colors and just that kind of stuff from the night. So I'm excited to see what more that we will be able to come up with and encounter.
It's very Saved by the Bell vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And then be able to go from there. So we were able to eliminate one suspect. We were able to eliminate out of the 9. We eliminated Aura from the list. Yep, there's the pupper back there. Here. Oh, there you go.
She's been farting off and on for the entire evening. It's been quite torturous, I'm going to promise you.
Hi.
Hello, girl.
So, all right. So again, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for stopping in. Feel free to let us know if you're already getting theories in your head or anything like that, or if there's stuff about the case that you're really liking so far. Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss episode 2. And then also, again, April 28th. So April 28th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tune in right back here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Strange Tangent, and join us for episode 2 of Class of '98. All right. Well, we'll all see you next time.
Yeah, right? It's going to be 3 weeks. 3 weeks was going to be a little rough.
Yep, 3 weeks. And I think our goal is every other week after that. So maybe every other week is what our goal will be for these episodes. So
just so that it's not as long between the episodes, because remembering a month out is a little tough sometimes.
Right.
Yes, that's what we thought too.
Very
a little more exciting.
Right?
Just be able to dive into the story more and not have to try to remember so much between each episode and stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, absolutely. So everybody, chat, YouTube. Thank you so much for coming in, watching our video, and hanging out with us and helping us to try to come up with the solution for this episode and getting us it narrowed down on the killer for Charles.
And as a side note, like, we're not sponsored by Hunt a Killer at all, but we really love what they've done with some of these kits. They do have a few special sales and bundles going on their website. So if anyone is curious, they've got some really pretty decent deals. If you're wanting to get a mystery of your own to start solving, now would be a good time to jump in on those, because they have some really good starter bundles.
Yep. And they do those every so often. So if you, those of you that are in chat right now, that deal's going on right now. If you're watching this on YouTube later, it may or may not still be in effect.
Good point.
But yeah, they definitely do some deals every so often with different bundles and cut some really good deals on things. So if you're going to pick something up, let us know, right? So if it's a case we haven't solved yet, maybe it's a case that we have. We have Moon Summit Mystery that's over there as well.
Which is yet to be solved.
Right, so we haven't solved that case yet. That's another one of our case files on our docket. And then, we may pick up a couple more. So if there's one that you're eyeing that you're really wanting us to tackle, let us know. Again, let us know down in the comments down below on the video, and let us know what ones you're wanting to see us tackle. We're also going to be, we're getting them in. We have the monthly subscription. So we are getting the monthly subscription boxes in currently. We only have 2 so far, but I think the 3rd one's on its way, and that is for Off the Record. So we'll also be, that case is stacking up as well. We'll be able to get Off the Record tackled at some point, hopefully as well. So, but until next time, I hope you all stay safe, and above all else, make sure you stay strange.